Yes, everyone has a podcast. I have a podcast. You have a podcast. We all have podcasts. Governor Gavin Newsom of California has a new podcast called This is Gavin Newsom. This is a podcast that exists because he needs a way to reach out to new people as he is term limited to be the governor of California, and his next step is still a bit questionable. But he's basically reaching out for more conversation with leading prominent figures. In this case, he's opening up with leading prominent conservative figures, including Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon. The initiative he's doing is aiming to bridge ideology, the divides between the groups, engaging directly with influential voices from the opposite viewpoints to have a real dialogue conversation. Apologies for screwing up the word ideological because I always do that. Meanwhile, people aren't so happy about it. The podcast drawing some criticism from many folks who are high up in the Democratic Party. Governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, one of them, expressing concerns about providing a platform to individuals like Bannon, citing their promotion of hatred and anger, a quote. Similarly, former Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger, who criticizes Newsom's decision because it suggests that it inadvertently legitimizes those ideologies, the extremists that they are, one of the reasons why that Kinzinger is no longer in Congress and more or less former Republican, if you will, is because he's been battling that battle for a while. Now he's more of a neutral standpoint and doing the TV circuit, which is fine. He probably has a podcast as well. Now, some people actually are interpreting the outreach to conservatives as a strategic move to broaden his electoral weight ahead of his possible 2028 presidential bid. Essentially engaging with diverse perspectives, i.e. folks he doesn't agree with, he's going to make himself a bit more palatable, more engaging, and more ability to actually deal with it. So if someone like Newsom can actually sit down and not go spitting mad words with Charlie Kirk and with Steve Bannon, which those guys know how to act when it's time to act right, this could be a thing that can actually get him more votes from the red side. More people who could be more of a normie type Republican who will vote for a guy like Newsom over whoever MAGA's putting up in 2028. Assuming we do have a election in 2028, that's a whole nother video on its own. Newsom may be trying to position himself as a unifying figure for the nation or a centralist for all to choose, as opposed to someone on the bipartisan level. That is essentially where he's going with all these discussions. That is essentially why he's doing this as a podcast, because all the kids are watching podcasts these days. No one's reading articles. No one's going to think tanks. No one's actually watching the news. They're listening to podcasts, very long discussions with people, or clips of them in most cases to get what they want out of them. So we have talked about the podcast before. We talked about the Charlie Kirk one already, but he has Steve Bannon on. He's having all these people who are conservative stalwarts, big time names of people who have basically openly said they don't like folks like Gavin Newsom, but he's talking to them and he's having conversations and they're going okay, I guess. Or are they? Do you agree or disagree? Do you like the process, or are you not really feeling for it? Or do you wish Gavin Newsom could go away? Many folks on the Democratic side wish he would just disappear. Apparently, he's not quite gone yet, and where he's going next is debatable. You can continue this debate further with us here in the Conversation Project by commenting with the video here. Wherever you want to, just what do you think about it? Let us know. We'll pull it up and we'll talk about it.